This is George Dionne of Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Patrick Gagliardi of Stormforce.
Sure, good enough.
Did I get it close enough?
You're close enough. It was not too bad. It's Gagliardi. The second G is silent. So it's a true Italian name there.
I gotcha. All right. If I knew absolutely nothing about Stormforce, how would you describe the band's music to me?
That's a good question. I think there's some elements of retro, early 80s, maybe it's up on the mid 80s, and then all the way up to, some later sounds too. I don't think it's all in that area, but it's pretty hard, pretty good. I wouldn't say we're quite metal, but a good hard rock kind of, get you in the mood kind of music.
Absolutely. Your debut album, Age of Fear, was released back in January of this year through Escape Music. Has the COVID lockdowns put a damper on the promotion of the album?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, we had a couple shows booked already. They've already been postponed. The first show we were supposed to play was April 24th, and now it's postponed to April 24th again. So it's crazy, the same day the next year. So we hope that happens for us. But we've been doing a lot with social media, that kind of thing, selling a lot of CDs online, that kind of stuff, and we just released a new video. So we're always working with different ways to promote the band, but obviously gigging is out of the question.
You released a few songs from the album. Why don't we talk about the meanings behind those songs? One of the songs you released is Because of You.
Yeah, Because of You. So that's actually the only song I didn't write the lyrics to, but I do know what it's about. Basically, Because of You can be anything. It can be anyone. It can be, whatever gets you up in the morning, whatever gets you going, your favorite sports team, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever, your kids, if you have kids, whatever kind of keeps you going through life. And, it's because life sometimes can be tough. So, Because of You that's why I get up in the morning.
One of the other songs you released is Dirty Vegas.
Yeah, so Dirty Vegas, that was our first video we did, other than Because it was a lyric video, but the Dirty Vegas is our first real video. So just a great hard rocker. I mean, really just simple story about Vegas, right? Everybody knows when you go to Vegas, you kind of go wild, right? So that's basically it. It's kind of if I'm going to put in a movie context, kind of like The Hangover, right?
Right.
Hanging out in Vegas and not even remember what happened the night before.
The most recent song, I believe, is Breathe. Yeah,
Breathe is the one we just released the video just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So when I was writing the lyrics to Breathe, I kind of wanted to touch on. I'm a pretty optimistic guy. I always try to be optimistic, but I kind of want to touch on the subject of depression. I got a couple friends and family members that have suffered from depression, but with the idea that, in this case, a lover, but someone working together, having a support system to kind of get you out of that funk, to get you, from being down to being up, right? So that's what Breathe about. It's about depression, but overcoming that depression.
Listening to the album, I listened to it a few times this week, and you probably didn't intend it that way, but a couple of the songs could be applied to what we've been going through in 2020. You say that Breathe is about depression, and the song Age of Fear is kind of something we're all going through, and martial law is kind of what you could picture going down and happening. Your album turned into kind of a prediction of the future, didn't it?
It certainly did. Well, a couple of things. Well, Age of Fear, for sure. When I was writing it, I was thinking of obviously political and social media, and the way you're hand-fed news, and they tell you what you want to hear or what they want you to hear. So Age of Fear fits perfectly for 2020. I think I didn't intend it, obviously for the year. I don't have a crystal ball, but it did work out that way. And martial law too, in a way. And the funny thing is, when Greg gave me the title Martial Law, and I wrote the lyrics, the actual song though, even though it's martial law, and you think of shutting down towns, I actually have got more of like a Wild West feel to it, the U.S. Marshals have get a bounty on somebody and they're bringing him in for the hangman, that kind of song. But the title certainly still rings true to 2020.
Darius, I'm not even going to try his last name, produced Age of Fear. How did he get involved?
I'm not going to bother either.
Hispanic. Hispanic. How did he get involved, and
Sure.
what did he bring to the table?
So he's a high level producer. He works out of a studio called Phase One in Toronto, which is a large studio. He's worked with the Black Crowes and stuff like that. He's actually a good friend of Greg, so he's done things for Greg before. And he heard, I believe, "Ride Like Hell" was the first track he heard, and he went, I wouldn't mind producing this. Like, getting it to the sound where he wanted. He took our recordings, which were great. I mean, Brian Hamilton engineered the album, and it sounded great. But Darius took it and just took it to another level. Like, just brought it. The sound is, I think, is really big for a great rock recording.
Did Escape Music find you, or did you shop the album to them?
No, we shopped them. So what happened was Greg was actually talking to another label, and they were asking him about a Brighton rock record. You guys want to do a Brighton rock record? Because Greg's from Brighton Rock. And he said, no, but I have another band that I'm working with right now. So we weren't even Storm Force then. And I sent them a few tracks, and they loved it. So they wanted to sign us right away. And then there was 2 more labels that wanted to sign us. So Greg kind of started asking around, who's a good label? Who can we trust? Who's a good guy? And everyone kept on mentioning Khalil from Escape, CEO Escape. And so we got in touch with Khalil, sent him the track, same idea. He went, absolutely, love it. Let's do it. So he helped us virtually name the band, and then we released it in January.
So how did you and Greg Frazier of Brighton Rock get together to form this band?
So Greg was actually starting to write. He always writes, so he's been writing ever since Brighton Rock, and he. I'm trying to think of how he kind of called me one night and said, "Hey, I've been working on some tunes. Do you want to come down and sing one?" I've known Greg for a long time because when I was just like 12 years old, he used to hang out with my brother, and they used to play in a band when they were like in grade 7 and 8. And he's come and sleep at our house and play guitar there. So that's how I know him. But then obviously many years later, I've seen him through the years of different bands that I was in, and of course seeing Brighton Rock. We got together, and he sent me this track, and so I think it was "Ride Like Hell" was the first one. So I said, I'll give it a shot, see what you think. I don't know if, whatever. So I went to the studio, and we laid down vocals that night, and he goes, "What do you think?" I said, "I like it. I like it a lot." So we just kept on working away. And the funny thing is, even when we got with Escape, the album wasn't done. Like, we were just kind of taking our time. It wasn't a huge, there was no huge rush. There was no record label to worry about. And then once Khalil got on board, he went, "Okay, now I need a finished album, though. Let's go." I think we had maybe 4 tracks left to go. It wasn't a lot, and they were already written. They just weren't recorded. So we kind of started putting fine touches and went into the studio more often than once a week, and knocked off the album. And that's when once it got done, it was ready to go.
So you said Khalil from Escape Music named the band. Why did he particularly pick this name?
I see it's more of a collaboration. So when we had signed the deal with him, he's like, "So what's the name?" And we don't really have a name particularly. We had one floating around. I think "Ring of Steel" was the first one. He didn't like that, and neither did I actually. But so then we went a few through others. Went sent emails back and forth. What do you think of this? Well, I like it, but this and that. And I do believe it was him that came up with Storm Force. And then we were kind of like, yeah, it's cool, because you kind of thinking of the, earthquakes and hurricanes and, the force of a storm. And we just kind of settled on that, and that's it. It's all history.
Now, this isn't your first band, right? You've been in other bands before, right?
Yeah, I literally have never stopped playing.
Yeah.
Since I was like 16. Not once. I've always been gigging. I still am gigging in other acts too, like cover bands and stuff like that. I like to play. So we had a I'd say in the 90s, I had a band called Surface Tension. We had a couple EPs out and stuff like that, and we got some label interest, but it just never kind of got to that level.
Was the band able to tour before you guys got put in lockdown? I mean, it was probably a couple of months between the release and when everything started to shut down.
No. Like I said, our first date was April 24th.
Yeah.
Because the album came out the 26th, and we booked our first show just locally. Sold it out, ready to go. and COVID hit. So what are you gonna do?
Have you guys?
We were rehearsing. We were in rehearsals.
Have you guys thought about like some sort of YouTube or Zoom performance or something like that, or are you guys just too far apart?
No, we're actually really close to each other. That wouldn't be a problem at all. The only issue we have with that is that we kind of wanted our first time to be on an actual stage in front of actual people. Now, we've done some stuff like acoustic jams and stuff like that, like a live stream. Me and Greg have done some of the Stormforce tunes and, done some covers and had some fun shooting the shit with the fans and that kind of thing. But, I don't know. We just haven't got to that point where we want to do it. We're hoping a show is in early 2021, and then hopefully we can do some more dates. So we're looking forward to our first show to be live.
Yeah. Well, with the delay of touring on this album, are you thinking of maybe re-releasing the album?
Good question. I do not know. I don't know. I do not know the answer to that question. I think what our immediate plans are is we got Breathe out there, which, like I said, that's our latest video. We're pushing that pretty hard. It's getting a lot of views. Yeah. So that hopefully can get the name out. And then we'll shoot another video probably in the next few months. And we're actually considering doing even a Christmas song.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, we've been thinking about just something to keep the word going, keep our face out there.
So I was listening to the album, and definitely I agree with you with the description of the band that you sort of have that late 80s sound. Is that the kind of bands that influence you, the kind of Rat, the Cinderella, the Poison kind of style? I don't want to call them hair metal, but that style of bands.
I think a mixture, and I think it's on the album too. I think that you'll hear a little different styles from song to song. I got a lot of influences, obviously, all the way from the Beatles, but my early influences are like Judas Priest.
Yeah,
Judas Priest is my favorite band of all time. So I think there's some good like heavier rock tunes in that album that have that. So I say yes, there's some hair band influences. I love Cinderella. White Snake, all that stuff, that's definitely our influences, definitely right in our wheelhouse, for sure. But also that early 80s kind of feel, that Priest, and maybe not Maiden, I love Maiden, but more that Priest and a little harder edge rock.
Yeah, you got some good ballads in there, too. I mean, I wouldn't dismiss those.
No, absolutely. It's crazy, like, cause, we got 3 ballads on the album, which is not normal, but we just write what we want to write. Like, that's what Greg and me have been doing. He's the main writer in the band, right? So he'll come with the riff, the melody, and then I write the lyrics for it. And we don't worry about a certain formula. I like this riff, I like this melody, let's see what we can do with this. And whatever makes it on the record makes it on the record, and whatever doesn't, well, maybe it makes it on the next record.
I mean, you got a lot of time being in the lockdowns before you start touring again and stuff like that. Are you guys writing new music? Yeah,
we got another song we've been working on the last little bit. Greg's always writing. Like, he's actually pretty funny. Like, I go to his place, and he's got his iPhone out, and he's got his voice notes out, and hey, listen to this. And it's just him literally, like, playing a little riff and then kind of singing this crazy melody over it that there's no words, it's just mumbling. But he gives you a real feel for it. That's the way he always sends me the songs, is literally a guitar riff, maybe a little electronic drum behind it, and then, this blah, 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 but it's not, it actually, the way he does it, it's hilarious, first of all. So one of these days we'll have to release that in some way, because it's way too funny. But it really, as a writer, it gives me actual ideas. Like, I get the point of the song when he sends it to me. It's not just him going la, 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 la.
Right, exactly.
So he does a good job of translating that cheesiness that he's doing, but doing a good job of translating, make me feel like I'm actually listening to a finished track.
So I know it's still a little early to say, but I mean, you got some tour dates in April of next year. Are you planning just to tour your home country of Canada, or are you looking to expand it out to other countries?
So we would love to obviously go everywhere. It's really on demand. I mean, obviously it's our first album. We're going to work on a second album. Our plan is to hopefully get some contacts, and we did get some offers to go down to Chicago before this all happened, so maybe that'll reemerge. We'd love to go over to Europe. This music, even more so in Europe, does it? They love this sound.
Absolutely.
More than I say North America does, right? Where we can definitely get dates here, there's no question. But Sweden and Finland and the UK, they really dig this music over there. So we would love to get over there and do like a festival, that kind of thing.
Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that I didn't touch upon tonight?
No, really. The only thing is, again, I like to let the fans know that our new video for Breathe is out on YouTube and Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out. Check us out on social media, Instagram, and hopefully we'll see you at some shows once this shit is over.
Absolutely. Thanks for talking to Metal Express Radio today, Patrick. It was a good conversation.
No problem. My pleasure.